Great. So good morning. We have a nice sized group, so it'd be great if we could do a quick round of introductions, and I'll just call on you to make it efficient. I'm going to do the MDC team first. I'm Ann Ball, Maine Downtown Center. Joanna.
I'm Joanna Crisp, also with the Maine Downtown Center.
And Adam.
Adam Burke with the Maine Downtown Center and MDF.
Great. Scott.
Morning, everyone. I'm Scott Burke. I'm from Norway Downtown, and I'm also on the advisory council.
Thanks, Scott. Deb.
5-year tenure process.
Deb Fay from Vision Hollowell, and I am at work, so if I disappear, that's why.
Thanks for joining us, Deb. Cara.
Cara Romano from Heart of Ellsworth.
And Brooke.
Morning, I'm Brooke Minner with Main Street Bucksport.
Great. And Brett.
Hey everybody, Brett Richardson, Economic and Community Development Director for the Town of Lisbon.
And Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Ketch with the Town of Holton. I'm the Community Development Director.
Christina.
Christina Kane Gibson, City of Caribou Events, Marketing, Economic and Community Development, and Caribou Downtown team.
Super. And John. Let's see if we can get, there you go.
Oh yeah. John Bass, Division Hollowell with Deb.
Great. And Jane.
Good morning. Jane Torres with the Greater Holton Chamber of Commerce.
And Kristen.
Good morning. Kristen Wells, Holton.
And Nancy, we already did you. You were on the phone, right? Okay. I have that other number there. Got it. Well, thank you all for coming. It's so great to have you here at our first ever affiliate office hours. We thought it was important to check in with our affiliate programs, and I have literally, I think, 2 slides to quickly share. Let me open those up. Let's see. Okay, very quickly. So thank you for coming to this fun group. We have a little agenda here, and we're going to go over some things, and mostly we just wanted you all to connect with each other and also connect with our staff, just so that we can be more helpful. It's been a challenging 2020, and we're still coming out of it in 2021, and we thought this was important. We have a number of our affiliates who, not a number, but a few that have devoted staff, and then we have others that are in municipalities, and a number that are standalone nonprofits being run by all volunteers. So we have lots of different organizations, and we don't often get together with just our affiliates. So you are usually always invited to our Main Street meetings, but we thought there's some specific things happening in our affiliate program that we wanted to share today. Let me just do one more slide. I want to remind you, everybody can see the map, I take it. I want to remind you that you're part of this bigger family. This slide looks out of focus. I apologize. You are really each of you, of 15 affiliates that are in our program at this time. We had an information session earlier in the year, and we had, I think, 6 other communities that are interested, but it takes a while, and you guys know how much work it is. So we at this point have 15 that you are all part of, and along with our 10 Main Street. So we are supporting 25 programs in the Main Street family, if you will. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my slides. And if anybody has any questions, this is a small enough group. Please use the chat. Please raise your hand. We can make this open conversation today because this is a nice sized group. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joanna to talk about some of the structural and new things that we've been working on in the affiliate program. So take it away, Joanna.
Thanks, Anne. Can you see my screen? Does that look good? Okay, great. So yeah, this meeting, you might have noticed, I called it a check-in. Internally, we've been calling it office hours, and the concept for it has kind of evolved. It was originally conceived as just an administrative check-in with all of the affiliates to make sure that everyone was clear on both the requirements to maintain, current status as a downtown center affiliate, and also all of the benefits that are available to you to make sure that you are availing yourselves of those. So I'm going to cover that piece, and then hopefully quickly enough to leave time for, I think our recognition was also that that we don't have a designated space just for affiliates to connect. So we're looking forward to that piece a little bit later on, and also getting feedback from you all, whether this is helpful and something that we should be doing more regularly. So just to touch on the first piece, this is a document that I circulated with the invitation to this meeting. And it's organized where sort of for both requirements and benefits, there are several of each that are common to both affiliates and our staffed Main Street communities. And then, as you see here, some additional requirements and additional benefits that apply to Main Street organizations only. So I'll just quickly go through all of them in case any of our affiliates are thinking about potentially, eventually, becoming full Main Street communities. So as you all know, we have the annual LOA, and last year we did 2-year LOAs. We thought that that would be helpful given everything that was going on with the pandemic and folks sort of attention understandably being pulled in lots of different directions. So for those of you that returned 2-year LOAs last year, we won't need another one until 2022. I think there are a few affiliates that didn't return LOAs last year, so I will follow up with those to bring everybody up current. And we have the LOAs due no later than July 1st, and that is to accommodate organizations that work on mid-year fiscal years. So certainly organizations are welcome to return their LOAs earlier than that, along with their annual dues, but some organizations prefer to return both after the start of their fiscal year on July 1. Membership dues are on a sliding scale depending on size of population. So those are at the moment $500, $750, or $1,000 depending on population. All Main Streets pay $1,000 a year. And those are also due no later than July 1st each year. I understand, I'm fairly new with the Downtown Center, just past my 1-year anniversary, but I understand that these membership dues have been the same for several years. Is that right, Anne? They haven't been increased in 10 years. The sub-licensing agreement is what allows you to use all of the logos from National Main Street. So that comes directly from them, and they issue new logos each year as well. So once that sub-licensing agreement has been sent and returned, there is essentially a Google Drive full of logos that I send you a link to. It's a little bit of a complicated process because those agreements need to come from and go directly back to them, and then I share the logos with you, but we work through it, and so there are refreshed logos for you to use each year. And Anne, correct me if I am mistaken about any of this because I've just been through it one time now. Annual reporting is something I'll talk a little bit more about. This is something that Main Streets have been required to do for a long time, but we rolled it out for the first time in December for affiliates. And my understanding is that that was a mix of us seeing the value that having the Main Streets conduct this reporting provides, not just for us to be able to talk about the impact of the program statewide, but also for each of the Main Street communities themselves. And we're doing work to visualize that data. It'll be part of the new members section of the website. So there'll be some graphics that show some of those reinvestment statistics that the Main Streets collect, which I'll talk a bit more about. For affiliates, the reporting is a little bit different. It's more about just capturing a baseline for where your organization is at, and hopefully, you know, a good tool for guiding that conversation within your organization each year. We just completed annual assessments with all of our Main Streets as well, and that serves the same purpose for them. So we do invite everyone to participate in the Downtown Center Annual Awards celebration. That was at the end of January, virtually this year. We expect all of our affiliates to participate in 4 trainings per year, and to participate in information sharing with other MDC members. And I think that's something that we probably could be providing a little bit more support around exactly how to execute that, but there is an expectation and a hope that there will be peer sharing of your best practices. And I know that some of you do that quite a lot already. And then there are dues that get paid to the National Main Street Center. We pay those for our affiliates. And so you can see there are additional requirements for Main Streets only here.
I was going to add one thing, Joanna.
Yeah.
There sometimes National will send you directly an invoice to pay dues. Don't pay it. We pay it for you. And there has been confusion over that over the years. So it's usually $350 or $325, and we cover that for you. So don't pay it if you get it. Just send me a note.
That's a good note. I'll add that. This is a working, growing document, so I will add that note to the document here. In terms of your benefits, all affiliates get discounted or free registration to both Main Downtown Center and Main Development Foundation trainings and programs more broadly. Events, webinars, and a lot of our leadership programs, which you know do usually come with a cost for registration. Access to the MDC members area, which Nat has been updating everyone at during the optional monthly calls, and you'll hear more about that at the next call in April. Annual board and committee trainings, these are offered twice a year. We have our first one of the year coming up on next week on the 24th, I believe, right? And yeah, and we'll do another one of those in the fall. Annual work planning assistance. This is something that Hollowell has taken advantage of this year. So this is on request. If you need additional support from us at the Downtown Center, we can help you with as you develop your work plans for the year. As I said, I hope the reporting helps with that, but we're also available to provide some one-on-one technical assistance.
And Ellsworth took advantage of it too. So we've had 2 affiliates do it, and it is a great process.
Hopefully they would agree, those who are on the call. And so where are we? Yeah, so in addition to the work planning assistance, there are just other things that come up, you know, in the course of your work. And we have put up to 20 hours per year. We need to see we've just started to track our technical assistance. And so we have an idea of how many hours we spent just doing kind of one-on-one coaching, attending a committee meeting, whatever kind of shape this technical assistance might take. We just now have the ability to track those hours. And so we think we may be able to, between the 3 of us, provide up to 20 hours per year per member organization. And the caveat there, I guess I'll add a little asterisk here as well to add a note that that's our hope, and that number may increase or decrease depending on uptake and the Downtown Center's capacity. We also, as hopefully you all know, have other programs and opportunities that come up, quite a few per year, it seems, just based on my first year of being here. So we have the Main Street Fellows AmeriCorps program, the Historic Commercial District Revolving Fund, Revitalize Me, the Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Building Project, which Brett and Lisbon are a part of. Revive Civility is one of our internal names for the community engagement project that Hollowell was a part of, along with Rockland, one of our Main Street communities. So these are additional programs that we either administer or partner on, and the affiliates have access to participation in many of those as well. And then finally, at the bottom of our website, we promote training opportunities, and we do have a budget for scholarships if they're not free training opportunities, if they're not ones that we're offering. And I try to include a note about that in the website, that especially if they're trainings that the National Main Street Center is offering that have, you know, significant costs, a few $100s maybe for a 2 or 3 hour workshop. We have support available to help you attend those. I will pause there for any questions. Looks like there might be a couple in the chat. Oh, no, those are from Anne. Are there any questions on annual requirements and benefits? Are there no questions because it's a lot and everyone's still absorbing, or is it all information that you maybe already are comfortable with?
Joanna, did you send us this document? I think you did, right?
I sent it, yeah, in the initial meeting invite, and I will send it, we can send it again in follow-up. I know it was helpful for me, again, just getting grounded to the program, to put this all down in one place. And so we'll share this as part of follow-up, and then it will appear in the members section of the website too, that we're launching next month.
I do have a question. This is Cara from Ellsworth. On, I don't know, I think it's the 6th or 7th bullet down under annual benefits. The access to the, in parentheses, all of the different programs, is that information, and forgive me if I haven't looked yet, but is that information for those individual programs, meaning AmeriCorps, Historical Commercial District, Revolving Fund, all of that sort of stuff? Is that up on the website where we can go to see descriptions of these programs, to do a little bit of research before we ask you folks for a little bit of your time to talk about them?
It will also be appearing in the members section. So you can tell we're very excited about this new section of our website. It's been a long time in development, and sort of the components of that are responding to needs like this that we've heard from our members. So so the bottom section of the landing page of the members area is current opportunities, and we'll have all of them listed that are currently kind of open and accepting applications, and the criteria to qualify will be there.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah.
And Deb has a question, Joanna. Deb.
Hi, I was wondering if it was something I was thinking of putting together, and then I realized you guys probably, hopefully have something like this. I have a couple potential new board members, and I was thinking it'd be great to have like a online self-training module to get people up to speed about the program, with like links out to, you know, more info and maybe videos. Do you have something like that?
We don't. I believe it's on our work plan for this year. We've called it different things, like a member handbook, but I think a general orientation packet. Is that correct, Anne? That's on our work plan for this year?
Yeah, it is on our work plan, Deb. And what we have been doing is offering 2 trainings per year, depending upon if an organization is on a fiscal or a calendar year, so that when they bring new members on, they could attend a 1-hour training, which is like the high level overview of, you know, what the Main Street 4-point approach is, what's a working board, and that kind of thing. And it's next week, and then it's again being offered September 1st. And it's a webinar format or a conversational, you know, Zoom meeting format, and it is recorded. So that's kind of one very grounding training opportunity for any new board members or committee members, really.
That's great.
Or
Yeah,
ones that haven't, just need a refresher too. It's.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a lot to explain to somebody new coming in, and
Yes.
just like something really basic for even people who are considering, like, okay, here's what it is in a nutshell. With
True.
that would be really helpful.
Yep, and we do have a link of a recording on our YouTube channel. So if you did have someone you were recruiting that wasn't a board member yet, they could certainly watch that as well.
That would be great. Yeah, I have actually two. So
okay, and we can send you that link.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of this information is currently scattered across different pages on our website. And so the members area is a great opportunity for us to funnel all of that stuff into one place. And then I'll also go and update all the other pages to make sure that it's really accessible. Any other questions on requirements or benefits before I just say a few more words about reporting? I can only see 4 of you at once when my screen
It's
is
okay.
sharing.
I'm monitoring it, Joanna.
Okay. All right. So should I hop on over to reporting?
Yep.
Okay. So as I mentioned, we sent this out for the first time in December, and it's the first time that affiliates are doing this reporting. So hopefully this is familiar. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to at least look at this. I think we have 15 affiliates. I think 7 are represented here, and we've had 4 complete this reporting form. So we just wanted to see if there were any questions that we could answer, or any help that we could provide to the affiliates that haven't completed this to make sure that you're able to do it. And as I mentioned earlier, we're hoping this is information for us, but this is also information that we will work to package and report back to you. And it will be really helpful to you in communicating the value and impact of your programs. So as we look down the form, there's some basic information about just how your organization is structured, an opportunity to reflect on the representation of your organization as it compares to your downtown district, and then some numbers. And I also thought I would just very quickly show the reporting form that the Main Street's complete, and their numbers are much more specific in terms of providing real reinvestment statistics in their communities. But for affiliates, again, the first time doing this, the numbers that we ask for are really, just estimates on how many volunteers were involved in your efforts, how many volunteer hours, some stuff about how you're funded, and promotional efforts that you're undergoing, and then just a few questions about design, and looking at new design projects in your downtown that you might have been involved in the past year.
Joanna, Scott has a question.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that. Go ahead,
Nope,
Scott.
no problem.
Oh, yeah, it's just more of a comment because I did fill it out, I think.
You did.
No, I did. And so for people who haven't yet, I would just say, I think I won't speak for the Main Downtown Center other than they will, but I'll make the assumption they recognize that last year was possibly quite different than normal years. And so I found when I was filling it out, there was a lot of stuff that we would have done in a normal year, but we didn't just because of the pandemic. And so, I don't think anyone's going to hold it against you when
Not at all.
you say so. I mean, that's been the experience for the Main Streets as well. And so, just don't realize that everyone realizes this last year was different, and that we might not all have been as active as we normally would be. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Scott. And I think it was one of those things that I thought went without saying, and so I didn't say it.
Right,
but I hope that I did make that clear. In when we initially sent that out, the reporting form out, and also just in how we're speaking about it now. This is not a gauge of a pass fail or anything like that. It's essentially information that we hope will help us work with you year over year to just measure your goals and your progress towards them. So absolutely nothing punitive this year or in any year, but especially, you know, with COVID grace for sure. And it's good information for us to have about, you know, what those impacts have been. And again, it'll be good information for you all to have down the road. So are there any other questions about reporting, or for those folks that haven't had a chance to fill this out, what are the barriers that we might be able to help with?
And I think we have the form set up, Joanna, that every box isn't required. So if you don't have something to report, that's okay. Even if it's not a pandemic, like this is meant to be an easy entree. This is not meant to overwhelm you. This is just to start to capture the work that you're doing, so we can help you make the case for the good work that you're doing at the local level, and then collectively. It's going to be great for us to be able to reflect collectively on the work that all 15 of you are doing. And Deb said in the chat, for us, it got lost in the shuffle of board turnover. So that is understandable.
Find out what that number is.
For the one thing I did notice, I mean, in terms of required information, there were some volunteer numbers in there that if you didn't put in an exact number, it wouldn't accept it. And at least for me, I wasn't, you know, I wanted to indicate that my numbers were approximate as opposed to exact. And when I tried to do that, it wouldn't accept that. So it wanted just a number. I couldn't say approximately 5 or approximately, you know, 5 to 10 or something like that.
Okay,
So
that's great.
That's just one comment on it.
That's great feedback.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. That's an easy fix. It's just the type of field.
Right.
Yeah, I can
We will
tweak
fix that. Other questions or comments? I would love to know if you are feeling like this is a good idea for the affiliate program that you are all part of, especially some of you EDDs and community development directors out there. You love numbers.
That's a good exercise for sure. It kind of, you know, holds yourself accountable once a year to check in on it. So it's a good exercise to work through, and appreciate, you know, the flexibility as Scott just mentioned with 2020 and COVID. But it's a good process to check in annually. So appreciate it.
Great. Well, if you find things like Scott just brought up, or you have thoughts, let us know, because we are trying to make it, like I said, as low barrier as possible for you, and also capture some really good stories. And it is not punitive in any year, as everybody has said. If you didn't work in design one year and didn't, you know, have a volunteer to attend a planning board or talk to someone about historic preservation, that's okay. We just want to see that baseline, as Joanna said.
For those folks that haven't completed it yet, would it be helpful to have a new deadline? And what would be helpful or feasible in that respect? Maybe like another month? Can cover it in whatever your next monthly meeting is, board meeting, committee meeting?
I'm seeing lots of heads shaking.
Okay, so we'll say end of April, and I'll send that out also to the folks that aren't on this call.
Great.
Okay, thanks. That's all for me.
Great. I think we're turning it over to Adam, right? Adam? Is that the plan?
Sure.
Great.
Let's do it. Thanks.
Adam is going to lead a discussion, and then when you want me to launch the poll, I'll do that too.
Yeah, we'll start with the poll if you want to get that loaded and ready, Ann.
I absolutely will.
Thanks. So first off, just want to get a sense of the temperature here, if you all would like to continue getting together as a group of affiliate organizations. So if you could just complete that poll, please.
Yeah, I think we have every organization responding, so.
Great. You want to
Great.
flip that and show
I
us the
sure
results?
will.
Thanks.
I'm gonna close that poll. Share the results. Great.
All right, so we'll keep doing this. So given that, want to just open it up, whether in the chat or just come off mute, what are some things that would be helpful for you to have a focus on when we're together? What are some needs that you have or topics that you'd like to dig into more?
Brett here again. I think one topic that would be helpful is sort of a preview of resources that will be available 90 days out, so that we're always top of mind, you know, what the opportunities are and weaving that into our work plans.
Can you just say a little bit more of the preview of resources, which types of resources?
Yeah, for example, the entrepreneurship ecosystem that we're working on here in Lisbon, you know, the RFP for that process, if we're thinking about upcoming grant opportunities, just to, you know, touch in on those and have an opportunity to discuss them and be aware of the deadlines and prepare for those to meet them and take advantage of them.
Great, thank you.
And in the chat, Adam, Deb from Hollowell said she would like to hear what people are working on, challenges and successes.
Great.
And Deb is representing an all volunteer organization. And there are lots of people that need that, Deb. That's great. And I'm sure those with staff would benefit from that. Christina, tips for volunteer recruitment?
And I'd second what Deb said. I think I really like the idea of also sharing sort of what's successes and challenges and maybe focusing on one or two communities in you know, that if communities would volunteer to be sort of the lead in that part of the discussion in a meeting and discussing, you know, so we could focus on different communities around the state. It'd be interesting to see what everyone's working on. I would find that really interesting anyways.
I would too. I totally agree. Some peer-to-peer sharing.
I'm doing the awkward silence thing, just to see if anybody else has anything to say. Okay. Well, as other things come up, please share, drop a note to us, and we'll keep that opportunity to share what your needs are and what would be of interest to you here as part of these calls. So perhaps related to Brett's request in terms of knowing what's coming ahead, the newsletter is a place that we put a lot of effort into to make sure it's a good monthly resource. And if you're not receiving the newsletter, if you put your full name, your organization, and email here in the chat, we'll make sure you're on the list. And in the newsletter, there's sections related to upcoming funding opportunities, as well as a mark your calendar section, which is really focused on the webinars and trainings and such. In the meantime, if you don't have the most recent edition of the newsletter, you can see all of MDF's events. And as was covered in our benefits section, you're eligible for attending both Maine Downtown Center as well as MDF events. So you can see the full spread of events that are available. I'm just going to speak to a few that are coming up through Maine Downtown Center, but it doesn't go 90 days out. So just for the next month. So March 24th is the Maine Downtown Center Board and Committee training. On April 1st, the RFP is going to be released to apply for a Main Street Fellow for 2021 to 22 service. On April 9th, there's a monthly optional Zoom, which will be followed by an information session on that Main Street Fellows RFP. And on April 21st, there'll be a webinar on engaging and promoting your downtown businesses.
Chips on the floor.
Anne or Joanne, anything to add to that list or further details?
I was just going to add that the newsletter actually goes out to 1,700 people. So it's not targeted to our main streets and our affiliates. So I think, there are a couple of things we could consider adding a targeted newsletter just for our members once we get the members area up and running. That might be a good supplement. And also that these calls will supplement the sort of more general interest information that's in the newsletter. So if there are opportunities like the RFP that Nat put out to get support from the Main Street Fellow, that's something that wouldn't appear in the newsletter because it's only available to our members. So that those kinds of opportunities get communicated with targeted emails to you all. Just to be clear that the kind of opportunities that are listed in the newsletter are open to you and our broader downtown community.
Yeah. Any questions anybody has about any of those upcoming events?
I have a general question. Is the with now introducing the calls that are targeted for affiliate communities, is there still going to be the ability to sort of toggle between these calls and the Main Street targeted ones that have been going on since I guess the beginning of the pandemic?
Yeah, can you say more about what you mean by the toggle between? Do you mean like have the option between, or that both are available to you?
Yeah, exactly. We've just been attending those, and I'm just wondering if the intent is to sort of bring each community sort of in line with where they are, and to have that sort of be the kind of the internal purpose, or if things will still be open for us to have the opportunity to either join both or just go to one, or.
Intention is that you could go to both.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, I agree. And I think there's benefit for affiliate organizations to participate in those calls with the main streets, although, their circumstances might be different. There are a lot of common challenges, as you know, Cara, from attending those calls regularly. And some of the same information will get shared at each. I think, what we're just experimenting with now today, and it sounds like there's demand for, is an additional opportunity for just affiliate organizations to connect. And there might be some duplication. One of the things that I'm interested in is timing. So, those optional monthly calls are always 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning. Is this also a good time for you all? And obviously that's something I'll have to ask for folks who haven't attended this morning too, if the timing is a barrier. But is this time preferable or not necessarily for folks?
It's not good for me. We're quiet at work, but things are going to heat up, and then I will not be available Friday mornings anymore. So
what's the best? Ideally, you're good in evenings, right, Deb?
yeah. Or mornings I could do Tuesdays or Thursdays. But I have committee meetings Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So. Actually, anytime during the day, Tuesdays or Thursdays could work.
And we may have to do some kind of like hybrid thing. I have some other meetings that sometimes are in the morning and sometimes at noontime, just so that different people can attend. But we will do our best to sort that out, because there were some thumbs up on the Friday and some not. So. we will
Yeah.
figure it
Seems
out.
like this one might be more of a moving target, at least at
Yeah.
first, till we settle into whatever works best.
Yeah. And I also don't know that, I'm sorry, I had to step away, so you might have covered this. I don't know that these meetings would be monthly, like maybe they would be every other month or something like that. So I think we have a few things to sort out.
Kristen, you had come off mute.
I was just going to say having the meeting recorded helps too. So if we're not able to make it, I'd be happy to watch after too, and any questions follow up directly.
Another idea, just a discussion about different events that towns are having, seasonal events. So what people are doing for the summer events, what people are doing for fall events, for winter events, for spring events. I would, especially given the towns of our size, what's working in terms of events, I would think would be pretty interesting.
Adam, can you send us that list of dates that you were mentioning?
Yeah, I'll post them in chat.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's been a number of things that people have asked for, and we'll make sure we do a follow-up email with the same information, because I know not everybody is comfortable pulling things out of the chat, but we'll make sure you get it both ways. Great. Any other thoughts on this platform, or we're pretty much done? Adam did he waited for the awkward silence, right?
Yes, we had enough awkward silences. I think we got everybody's thoughts. Thanks.
Good. That's great. So we typically in our when we have our regular Friday optional Zooms, we do have a period of just kind of open discussion, and we do have a few minutes left, and I don't know if it would be fun to just popcorn style throw out your best success of the last year, just for us all to hear what you're most proud of. And it may be different, because I know we have 3 people from Houlton, so you may have different things. And Jane's representing the chamber, who works closely with the downtown committee. So Jane may have a different answer than Nancy, but how does that sound for a way to close out this morning? Sound good? Okay. So I guess I will start. Let's see, what does anybody want to volunteer to go first about what they're most proud of? Success. Deb, go Deb. Hollowell.
Our tactical urbanism park, downtown park, that was in part a success. When it was happening, it was a semi-disaster because it caused a big fight about parking versus parks, which was a little hard to live through, but it ended up being really great in the end. I mean, we did a survey and most people were very pro park. I think it was like 75% to 80 wanted some kind of park. And of those, the biggest number wanted a full park. So then there was the city took it over and did a design process. And now we have a design for a really cool park that includes parking, but it's handicapped for a handicap van and a park. And it looks like it's really going to happen. So that's super cool.
And I am madly searching for a picture of this park because I use it in almost every presentation. So that is an awesome case study. Thanks for sharing, Deb. Cara, would you be willing to go next?
Sure, that one's a tough one to follow. Nice work, Deb. And great way to frame it. You made me laugh through that. So I would say that one thing I did want to mention, and I'm glad I get to roll it into this. One thing that I wanted to mention, about a year ago, we launched a program. It was a pandemic response program called Zoom at Noon. And about twice a month, we do these calls. They were every week for a while, exactly at noontime for downtown business owners, residents, and for our elected officials and city employees to log on and to sort of connect. And I think it's really brought a sort of a platform to the community to sort of talk about issues that we're facing. And last week, I wanted to give a plug to the support from the Maine Downtown Center. We had Nat, the Main Street Fellow, and Ann Ball attend our Zoom at noon about outdoor dining, which is something we've been working on for a year. And the same as Deb, the city has sort of kind of taken it over in a way. We couldn't get it to happen last year. We were pushing really hard, and it looks like they're going to actually do it. And it's been painful, same thing. But we had great support from the Maine Downtown Center, and Nat presented at the beginning. So it was kind of and we had a nice article in the Ellsworth American, our local paper, that sort of gave Heart of Ellsworth some really big props. So it was really great. So that's our success
It's
story.
a great, well, not only the specific meeting, Cara, but the whole Zoom at noon concept was a great way to engage all your small businesses during the pandemic. And if it's like our monthly optional Friday Zooms, I think it's going to stick for you. It's a great connection point, whether there's a pandemic or not. Yeah. Anybody who would like to go next, or do I need to call? Here's a picture of Hollowell's Park.
I'm happy to go, Anne, if you'd like.
That'd be great. Thank you, Brooke.
Sure.
Just a note, that's my nephew.
Oh, that is a great example of a demonstration project, right? Moved some potted trees in, some fake grass, and really brought the space alive. That's a great example of really activation of that site. So anyway, wanted to share that. Brooke, we'd love to hear from Bucksport.
Sure. Yeah, we also launched a pandemic-specific project that has sort of taken over my year and is about to wrap up. We started selling coupons, or sort of coupons, called Bucks, because in Bucksport, everything is called a buck. Essentially, the program, we raised about $33,000 over the course of the year, which came from a mixture of business and individual donations and some municipal funding. And we used that money to sell $10 vouchers that were then matched by the donated money, and they could be used at any participating downtown business. We had about 25 businesses that signed up to take these coupons. So you took your $10 buck to the bookstore and it was worth $20. And then we just reimbursed the business owners. So it was really successful. We did it in 2 rounds, one starting in May and then again in November, assuming that all the bucks are redeemed by the end of the month, which is when they expire. You know, it will have put $66,000 into the downtown, which is really, it's been really significant for a lot of the business owners. And once we kind of worked out the kinks, it was not too complicated to administer, but it took a little bit to figure it all out at the start. So we're also wrapping up a couple of grant funded projects that have an impact on downtown. One is a large mural that will be mounted on the outside of the Alamo Theater in our downtown. That's funded by a Maine Community Foundation grant. And we're also wrapping up a Museum in the Streets project that we've been actually working on for a couple of years with our historical society. It took a while to get all of the funding in place to do that. So that's essentially what I've been doing. I'm actually leaving this position at the end of next month, which has been in the works for several months. I was a founder of this organization about five or 6 years ago, and I'm ready to move on and kind of let somebody else take the helm. So the board is in the process of interviewing candidates now, and that transition is well underway. So I probably will not be back here with you next time, which is why I didn't have a lot of input around what to do next, because it won't be me, it'll be somebody else. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished in Bucksport these past few years, and look forward to seeing, you know, whatever happens next. So
well, we're gonna miss
hello,
you.
goodbye.
Yeah. Brooke is wonderful, filled with wonderful wisdom in her work in Bucksport that always is inspiring to me when I talk to the rest of you. So we are going to miss her. But I do want to clarify that Bucksport is going through a transition with part-time staff, right? They have part-time staff. They are seeking new part-time staff, and we are helping them, you know, with sample job descriptions, a salary survey that we've done, guiding out their timeline of their search process, helping them get the word out of their job announcements to the Maine Community Development Association and the Economic Development Association of Maine and Indeed. So we're supporting them. So if any of you are going through those kinds of transitions, we are welcome. We are happy to support you in that process as well. And Brooke, do you happen to have like a one pager on Bucks, like how you do it?
No, but I could easily make one because it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I just don't know if you'd be willing to share, but I bet you, you know, that process that is so finely tuned, as you said, would be really wonderful for this group to have.
I'd be happy to. The other thing I would just add is I think this past year for us, because of the pandemic, has really allowed us or opened opportunities for us to work a lot more closely with our municipality. That relationship has always been pretty good, but has had its tension points. And I think early on, I worked very closely with our economic development director to really, you know, figure out the needs of our businesses and try to meet those needs. And it's just helped our relationship in a way, which I think will make it a little smoother for whoever is in this position next. And Anne has also been helpful in that way too. So the conversations that have happened in this past year around what we want our downtown to look like and how we're going to make that happen have been really productive.
Thanks, Brooke. And I totally agree. I think in a way, this is the chapter where your municipalities are seeing that these downtown organizations are really creating a sense of community. There are places, I mean, Belfast's director says the municipality is being so generous and really sees the value of the downtown for the entire community as a place to safely gather and do things. And, you know, they threw together an ice festival at the last minute that really brought people out safely. So yes, it's a sweet spot right now, Brooke, you're right. So we have 6 minutes left and 4 communities to give me their success story. Who would like to go next? Christina.
I have one success story and one funny one. We've finally got a light installation up that we've been trying to get up for a few years, and it has absolutely transformed our downtown and bringing people out. I've seen a wedding now under the lights.
Aww.
We've had family photos, pageant photos. Everyone's coming out and really enjoying the downtown, walking through the lights. We're looking to extend them now, another block. So was a really fun project. We had a great sponsor, Versant Power. So it's led to some big things, which is nice. And the other one was in researching, trying to get a pocket park off the ground. We had this great little piece of property that the city owned, really excited to get this pocket park going. And then through the research realized we don't actually own it. So we've been maintaining property for 25 years that we don't own. So
okay, well, I will tell you
the next project. Yeah.
Wow, that is funny. But I will say in Bath, a similar story was that a very much publicly used piece of property, they knew that the municipality didn't own it, but they talked the private landowner into developing a pocket park for all. So it's a similar story. So maybe there's still an opportunity for a pocket park, Christina.
We do own the lot next door that we haven't been maintaining. So it's going to be a little more work, but it was funny.
That is funny. And Christine, Kristen Wells says, show a photo, Christina. So if you have a photo, I know you've emailed them to me, of the light activation project. And Build Maine has a small grant program for these type of activation projects. And they've done lighting projects in particular in other communities. I know you had a corporate sponsor, Christina, but keep that in mind. If other of you are interested, we can share that information. Scott?
Sure. So, although I wanted to comment on what Christina just
Please
said.
do.
Well, just because we are discussing trying to figure out much better downtown holiday lighting for next year. We're trying to start planning that right now. And so I just love hearing that story, and I'd love to hear more about it. In particular, who designed it, because one thing that we're realizing is, we're not light designers. And so trying to figure out whether to try to come up with a professional designer and hire, or try to do it within our community. We're still struggling a little bit with that. But anyways, good job. I'm not sure I have a specific success. I was more thinking the overall success of this last year. We're just really, really sort of gratifying to see how our municipality, our organization, and our community just sort of all came together to support our town. We haven't lost a single business on our Main Street. Our Main Street is full, and it is still full. So, and a year ago at this point, I wouldn't have said that was going to happen. And so that was really exciting. And just sort of the outpouring of support from our local community to our downtown businesses, not only in coming out and buying. I own a business on Main Street. And so it's not only just coming and spending money and supporting and just continuously telling us how important our businesses were to the community, but also the respect given the new COVID restrictions that by far the majority of our community showed. As much as we heard in the media, all the negative, our community was incredibly respectful and worked within, I own a cafe, worked within our restrictions that we had to follow. And we're often very grateful for them and express that. So so I just think it was just a success for the entire town. Really,
I think that's a big one,
really happy.
Scott. I think that's definitely counts as a success. Nancy and Kristen, and then Brett.
I'll just quickly say our committee wasn't overly active during all that, but the businesses in the community were so creative and adjusted, and I think, like you, Scott, I don't think we've lost any, with the possible exception of one that actually was because the owner passed away, that I believe is not going to be able to reopen, but not really due to the pandemic. But Kristen had one of those businesses that I believe had been open 2 weeks before this all started. So I'll let her tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, what Scott was saying really resonates with me as well. Just to see the support from the community. People really came out for the small businesses and really respected the limitations that we had. We're a restaurant, we were open for 2 weeks. So we made this really fast hustle to switch to takeout, which was not in our business plan at all. And we're still hoping for the day we can get back to what we had originally designed. But the community really did an amazing job. And I would say survival, it was my first, when you asked how what our greatest success from the year, I'm thinking just keeping going, surviving. Our group just met again last week. And I think we were, I felt like at least we had some renewed energy, really reinforced the commitment to the work we had done in the past, fresh eyes looking forward. So in a way, the pandemic year gave us a chance to really take stock and dig deep and bond together. So I think that's a big success for us.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it to Brett, but I wanted to share a picture of the wedding in downtown Caribou with that beautiful lighting installation. And I do remember when we did our site visit in Caribou, this was this space. It might have even been called Dead Space, Christina. I mean, it was that alley way feeling, and no one wanted to go down it. And the pictures that you shared with us, really, again, activating this space are so awesome. And these aren't expensive, huge infrastructure projects, but they're so impactful. So thanks for sharing that story. So why don't we close with Brett and Lisbon?
Hey, everybody. I tell you, from my role as a town employee, it's really helpful to hear this conversation. It's my first job with the town, and it's good to hear how community organizations think and feel about working with the municipality. So I appreciate those perspectives, because it's something that we're always working to, build social capital around. And I think, our biggest success this year, I would just echo what Kristen just laid out, and add that the resources from the Maine Downtown Center and Maine Community Foundation and Main Street America through the Entrepreneurship Initiative, Ecosystem Initiative, it really gave us a structure and resources and to work through and plan together and take advantage of the downtime through COVID 2020. So we had great consulting from Main Street America and interviews with entrepreneurs. We did a survey, and then a bunch of conversations around what the community's priorities should be going forward. And it really just created a platform to coordinate, to converse, and to lay out goals for the future. So took advantage of that downtime.
Thanks, Brett. And just so everyone is clear, Lisbon applied to a program that was for this entrepreneurial ecosystem work. And Lisbon was selected. This was now 19 months ago or so that the applications were out and everything. And there are other opportunities, hopefully, for this entrepreneur work coming down again. Maine Community Foundation is trying to seek additional funds for additional communities to participate like Lisbon has been able to. But that is a huge success, Brett. You are absolutely right, getting accepted into that program. So with that, I want to close the meeting because it's 9:33 and I hate to end after 9:30 when we were supposed to finish, but I'm happy to stay on for a bit if anybody has any follow-up questions. And we have a list of materials to send you, and I think Adam and Joanna were all in agreement this was really amazing and helpful to us and hopefully helpful to you. So that's it, we're done. And like I said, feel free if you have other questions just to stay on. Thank you.
Thank you.